What's up everyone, Theo here with another quick commentary video. This time we're doing a plus 17 Underrot. As you probably know, Underrot is definitely one of the easiest dungeons in Season 2, so if you're looking for an easy weekly key, this is usually going to be what you're gonna run.
The blood trolls are scattered, but we must find the source of the rot and destroy it.
On the first pull, your tank will usually go pretty big, and this can be a pretty dangerous pull, especially when it comes to the Rotten Bile cast of maggots. Even on Tyranical, this can one-shot you. Luckily, we have a couple of ways to help the group deal with this, between Incapacitating Roar and Typhoon if you're spec'd into it. In a pug, I will usually interrupt the first cast, since this tends to be the deadliest cast as the group gets into position.
Shockwave.
This week's affixes are Incorporeal and Spiteful. Pretty annoying affixes in my opinion, but druids do have quite a bit of utility that they can use to help deal with these. Ursul's Vortex and Entangling Root are great for Spiteful. Hibernate is a must-take this week to help with Incorporeal. I also spec'd into Cyclone. I never ended up needing it on this run, but I do like the ability to handle 2 Incorporeals if I need to in a pug.
Shockwave. Shockwave.
3, 2, 1.
The next trash pull is pretty straightforward. As long as you are aware of who is getting targeted by the Dark Omen, and you have a couple of hots and are ready to use Swiftmend if needed, this shouldn't be too dangerous, and there's not really much else that can kill you on this pack. The first boss is pretty straightforward. There is really only one mechanic you need to worry about, Creeping Rot. Just dodge the wave as it comes out from the boss and you'll be all set. If a Blood Bolt cast does get off, you will have a bit of random damage to heal, though it's nothing too scary. As you can see, I do spend most of this fight in Moonkin form DPSing.
Watch wave. Watch your step.
3, 2, 1.
Watch wave. Watch wave. Watch your step. Watch your step. Watch wave.
The trash before the second boss can be very annoying. Again, we're going to see a return of the maggots. Be sure to stop their casts whenever you can to help out your group.
Shockwave. Shockwave.
The most annoying mob in these packs, however, are the Swarmers. These will fixate onto random targets and deal a surprising amount of damage. On a normal week, we have tons of utility to deal with this, from Ursul's Vortex to Entangling Roots to Typhoon. This week, however, a lot of the CC will be spent on Spiteful ads. Hopefully your DPS can help peel these off of you. If not, be prepared to pop Bark Skin, as it will help make the damage coming in a lot more manageable. We will also get an annoying disease debuff during this trash that will stun whoever it's on until the debuff is either dispelled or healed through. As a druid, we can obviously not dispel it, so we have to heal through it as soon as possible. This is going to be a great target for you to spend your Swift Mend casts on during these packs.
Watch your feet.
Three, two, one.
Shockwave.
Three, two, one.
Shockwave.
The second boss can be very deadly, especially for pug groups on Tyrannical. The first phase is easy enough to heal, however. As long as everyone dodges the boss's charge, there shouldn't be too much damage during this phase.
One.
Just be sure to help your group when you can by stepping on as many bugs as possible.
Charging. Move.
When the boss rampages, this is where things can get a little bit more difficult and spiral out of control very easily. Do your best to pre-hot the group and cast Wild Growth right as Rampage starts. Then I usually pop a cooldown, typically Convoke on the first one, Flourish on the second one, and then Convoke again on the third one. Once you have all your hots rolling on the group, use your Mobility in Cat form and Stampeding Roar to help the group clear as many adds as possible. If things get really bad, you can pop Tranquility, though this is a last resort since you won't be able to run around and help your group clear adds if you use this. As long as your group helps clear all of the adds and you save your cooldowns for the Rampage phase, you should be all set to handle this pug killer.
Three, two, one.
Charging. Move.
The trash leading up to the third boss is pretty straightforward. There's really nothing that can be too deadly as long as your DPS help with some interrupts. Dispel the debuff that goes out as soon as possible and enjoy a little bit of a breather from high healing checks.
What manner of creature is this? It must not be
If the curse on the final pack before the boss is not interrupted, wait for it to stop channeling and then dispel your top DPS. The curse reduces damage done, so taking it off your top DPS will help you get through this trash faster. This third boss is probably my favorite in the dungeon. It can be pretty straightforward if you have a group that handles the mushrooms correctly. However, if they don't, like in this group, it can really test your knowledge of when and where to use your healing cooldowns. The first thing to worry about is the dance part. It's a pretty good idea to pre-hot your group here, since we don't have a disease dispel. If someone gets hit by one of the balls, you will want to be ready to immediately heal them up using Swiftmen.
Run away.
The real danger on this boss comes during the second dance phase when Festering Harvest is also casted. This is where you will really need to have a good understanding of when and where to use your cooldowns, as the damage will be different depending on how many mushrooms were not cleared by the rest of your team. On the first cast here, I end up popping both Tranquility and Flourish, but 2 of our DPS still end up getting hit by balls and dying. I battle res one of them, however he will shortly be hit by another ball and die after that. On the next Festering Harvest cast, things get a little scary since I used most of my cooldowns earlier. I precast Barkskin on myself and use Convoke. Even though I get 7 stacks of the debuff, I am barely able to survive.
3, 2, 1.
Watch your...
Our final Festering Harvest is a lot easier to manage. We did a much better job clearing the mushrooms on this go around, and I end up using my Flourish just because it's back up, though it was probably not needed here.
Run out.
I have never seen this form of corruption before. If this spreads to the surface, we will not be able to contain
Here I get a nice little compliment from my tank, which is nice to see since I feel like a lot of time healers get a lot of flame in the community. So this was a nice little thing to see in a pug. The start of the trash before the final boss is pretty straightforward. It's all mobs that we've already seen. Dispel the magic debuff and curse if it goes out, and there really isn't too much danger here.
Watch your step. Shockwave. Watch your step. Shockwave.
3,
The only new trash that we
Watch
will
your
get
step.
before the last boss are the Faceless Corruptors. While everyone in your group should try to
Shotgun.
dodge the Maddening Gaze cast, it's extra important that you pay attention to this. If anyone does get hit, you will want to also not be feared so you
Watch
can
your step.
immediately dispel them. I do end up
Shotgun.
getting hit on the last pack, however, luckily I am far enough away and I don't end up pulling the tentacle that
Watch
we
your step.
tried to skip.
3, 2, 1.
Shockwave. Watch your step. Shockwave.
Payload specimen detected. Containment priority 1.
Three, two, one.
The final boss, Unbound Abomination, is all about positioning. Do what you can to stay stacked on the boss to try to bait the boss's frontal cone and then slowly move through the boss. If you get the cleansing light circle when the boss casts his frontal, make sure you move slowly so the rest of your team is able to follow and also get dispelled. If anyone does miss a round of cleansing light dispels, be sure to dispel them as soon as possible, as you don't want the debuff to stack up too high.
Sanitize.
Watch your feet. Stack. Watch wave.
Because of these debuffs in the fight, there is pretty constant damage going out at all times. Try to keep your hots rolling as much as possible and don't be afraid to pop your cooldowns if the stacks start to get a little high. When using Tranquility, just make sure it isn't right before the boss casts his frontal so you can get full value out of it.
3, 2, 1.
Sanitize.
Watch wave.
This fight is super movement heavy, and we are able to handle that pretty well between our instant cast spells as well as the mobility we get in cat form. If things do get too hairy, we also have our sprint and we can help the group out with our savage roar.
2, 1.
Watch your feet. Stack. Watch wave.
Agent detected. Sanitize.
Watch wave.
And that's a quick example of me healing a plus 17 Underrot for my weekly vault. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more casual healing content, and I'll see you next time.
The Titan brought us